welcome back to my channel. I thought I would do something a little bit different today. I am going to be setting up my planner for April, but I also wanted to do a little Q1 goals review. If you haven't watched my setup of my Hobonichi cousin for 2021, I recommend you go and watch that, because in there I didn't just like set up for the first month, I also set up for the year with what my intentions were. And I decided that I was going to set 21 goals for 2021. I had been I had been listening to Gretchen Rubin's podcast. I had read some of Gretchen's books in 2020 as well. And she talks about setting these goals for the year that are sort of like intentions that they're not hard and fast. Like if you don't meet them, you're not going to beat yourself up about it, but they're something to work towards, basically. And I decided that I was going to pick 21 for 2021. And I made this spread to kind of remind myself of them, and I have it bookmarked. I refer to it all the time. And I just wanted to do a little roundup. We're a quarter of the way through the year almost now, and I just feel like so much has happened in the past 3 months with my life, with my health, that I wanted to sort of come back to these and maybe make like a little note on each one of how they're doing, and then also see if I want to change any of them, because ultimately there's no point in having goals if you don't make them achievable, and if things change in your life, they need to be able to flex with those. So I thought that's what we would do today. I am actually going to do it on a piece of extra Tomoe River paper. I was going to do it on this page, like the last page of the month, but I journal every day in here and I'm doing really well at keeping up with it. And I like the space that I use for journaling. And also I think this review might take up more than one page. So what I'm actually going to do, I've got some Tomoe River paper. I just bought this off Amazon. It's not printed. It doesn't have the grid on it. But I'm going to just basically make a tip-in, basically, that I can just tuck into the first quarter of this book. And I hope that maybe actually I will continue to do this. So throughout the year, like I will put extra tip-ins in. I will tip in extra tip-ins. So I think, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, because I think that might be the easiest way to have enough room to do what I want to do, basically. So my plan, I'm just gonna take a seat. So my plan is sort of that what I want to do is actually sort of do go line by line, by goal, and just write a couple of notes on what I think of how it's been going, where I've struggled, and then also sort of do like a right, how do I want to take this forward into Q2? So I'm gonna actually keep this in the planner, because the squishiness of the pages really helps with writing on Tomoe River, I find. So I'm going to, I think, do like a little I'm going to do like a little header, and I'm gonna use pink, because I feel like it's spring, it's Q1, like the end of Q1, that's the start of spring, and you start to see blossom and things everywhere. So I'm just going to, I was going to stick to the same colour scheme as from the original and do like the brown and the green, but I just want to introduce some colour, I think. Keeping it simple there. So the first thing that I want to do is to literally go through the current goals and how they're doing. So I am going to give that like a little title, I think. So if I'm using a slightly different colour Tombow, this one is the 761 and this one's worn off. But I will mention it down below. And I think I'm just going to grab a micron, maybe. Oh, I don't want an 08. What do I want an 08, actually? Keep it chunky. Let's do some mono chunky. I'm going to call this current goals. One of the other benefits of leaning this on the Hobonichi is that I can see the grid through the paper. So I have written down what my goals were so that I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. I am going to use I am going to write in my fountain pen. This one is my Parker Sonnet. I keep thinking I need to do like a fountain pen collection video maybe. I did share about all of my fountain pens on my Instagram, but I don't think I saved it to a highlight or anything. So I will do that, but this is my Parker Sonnet. I've had this since I was like 13. I got it when I got good grades on my SATs at school, my like year 9 SATs. My dad, basically, if you got good enough grades, my dad bought me and my sister a Parker Sonnet because he used a Parker Sonnet, and it has a gold nib. It is a medium nib, so it's a bit thicker than my other fountain pens. It's thicker than I prefer, but the nib's really pretty, so I don't want to change it. And in here I actually have Noodler's, oh god, what's it called? Black Swan in English roses, not Australian roses, English roses, which is a pretty pink, so it kind of goes with the colour theme here. So, current goals. Let's go. Number 1 was to read for 21 minutes every day. And this one is going really well. It's very rare that I don't read in a day, let's be honest. This was the one that actually was was featured in Gretchen's podcast. So I kind of was like, yeah, I'll do this one. But I do find this one very easy. So for me, it's a very achievable goal. So number 2 is to read 12 non-fiction books in 2021. This one, I started really strong and I read like 2 non-fiction books in January. And then I've sort of petered off a little bit. I started another 2 non-fiction books and I just didn't manage to get through them. So I think really what I need to do is to really push myself on this one. I have a lot of non-fiction books to read, and I'm always finding new ones. There's always something new that I want to read. I just need to make myself read them, I think. And it's not even so much that I struggle to read them. It's actually usually that there is a fiction book that then becomes available. It either is published or I get it through work, through the library, and it's got reservations on it, so it needs reading quickly. So it's normally that I'll be happily going through a non-fiction book and then something like that will happen and it will derail me from that non-fiction book and I struggle to then go back to them. So I think I need to, so with this one, I think I'm going to put that I need to prioritise going back to non-fiction books if I pause reading them to read something else. So number 3, my goal was to read 50 books. This one is going well. I'm 2 books behind at the moment, and that's because I read A Court of Silver Flames, which was like 1,000 pages on my Kobo. It was a big old book, and then I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and that again was a big old book. It was something like 800 pages on my Kobo. So I'm 2 books behind because I only read 2 books in March, but they were chunky books. So I think for this one, I just need to, again, I need to mix up what I'm reading each month. because I do find if I, so I'm going to actually mix up the length of the books I'm reading in a month. Yeah, so I do find, like, if I read a big thick book, and there's just something about it, even if it's a book that I'm really excited about, I really want to read, there's only so much time that I've got to read in a day, and so it just takes me a lot longer to get through it. If I'm on leave or something, it's fine, I can just sit and read, but the rest of the time there's other stuff going on. I can't just sit and read a book non-stop. So I wish I could go back to those days, but I've got too much on my plate. So I think, yeah, when I finished a long book, I maybe need to then make it a point to read something that isn't as long. Definitely I found reading A Court of Silver Flames and then reading Addie LaRue, I was getting quite tired. Like, the Addie LaRue book is absolutely brilliant. I highly recommend it. You must go and read it. It's brilliant. But because I'd read a long book and then was reading another long book, I did find it quite... I wasn't getting enough variation in length. I just... The plot was really interesting. The characters were really interesting. The pacing was great. But I was almost like reading fatigue, I suppose. Because I just read two very long stories with the same characters, and I definitely needed something that was a bit more punchy in between, I think. So yeah, definitely just need to think about that when I'm picking what I'm reading. So number 4 is to journal every day, and I'm finding this one actually quite easy. I have had a few days where I have forgotten, but on the whole, I really enjoy getting to sit down and journal every day, especially because I always try to make a point of using my fountain pen to do it. So I'm using a pretty ink, so I don't always write something that is profound, or even, you know, sometimes I just list what I've done that day and just said whether I enjoyed it or whether I've had a good day, whether I've had a bad day. Sometimes I do get a little bit more in depth. Sometimes I just don't. But I enjoy the process. Of sitting and just, you know, putting my thoughts down on paper. So, number 5 is an act of self-care a week. This one I'm shocking at. I'm really not very good at this one, and I track this one on my monthly spread as well, and I'm just not very good at this one. And it ultimately comes down to prioritising myself, and I'm just not very good at prioritising myself in that way. I suppose in a way I have been doing self-care every week, in that I try and make sure that I do some yoga every weekend. I do something like, or I will go for a walk on the weekend. So in a way, that is an act of self-care for me, but I also want to be taking the time to have a relaxing bath or to paint my nails. I haven't painted my nails at all this year, I don't think. I haven't even been like looking after them. They're really long at the moment. So I think maybe for this one, I definitely need to prioritize this one. And I don't know why it is that I don't know. I think I maybe need to actually schedule in time for that self-care. I need to put a little window on my calendar every week and just say, right, that is when I'm doing some self-care, and then I can choose what it's going to be at a later date, sort of thing. So next is work out 3 times per week. This one has had ups and downs. I am at the moment being very consistent with working out, because I'm sort of challenging myself with yoga at the moment. So I'm challenging myself. I want to do a whole month of doing yoga every day. And I also want to, and then potentially once I've done that, then extend that even further. I started with saying that I wanted to do yoga every day for a week, and I did that without any issues. So this almost maybe needs to change to my yoga challenge. I've just found that it is the only type of workout that keeps me interested. It makes me feel powerful, like I am learning to control my body in a way that I'm quite a clumsy person. I'm always walking into things, falling over stuff, tripping over my own feet. Like, I have never really felt like a powerful person. Like, I've got control over my own body. So like learning to move individual muscles is like something that is super amazing to me. So I think that's what's keeping me engaged in it. And it's really interesting. So whereas other workouts, I find, yes, I get the benefit in terms of like the actual fitness from them, but they just don't hold my attention in the same way. And with the things that I've been learning about myself over the past 3 months, like, I know that I actually clinically need to do things that actually interest me in order for me to be able to do them. I can't make myself do something that doesn't interest me. So yeah, it's something that I think maybe this needs to turn into my yoga challenge. So we will think about that later on. So number 7, let's just line up again. This one I've been terrible at. So this is walk outside 3 times per week. I've just been rubbish at this. But the problem I have with this one is that when the weather is bad, it triggers my asthma. Walking triggers my asthma. So if it's windy, cold or wet, it just triggers my asthma. So this is maybe something that I can maybe work in more as the days are warming up. As we're going into summer, I think I probably will be able to do this one. But also equally, I have to factor in that, you know, if I'm doing yoga every day, that's like half an hour. And then like I've also it's not been light enough. This morning the clock's actually changed. So hopefully going forward, I can keep this one up. I'm not going to take it out because I think it's really important, especially the medication I'm on for my ADHD. It affects your heart. So for me, I need to be doing heart healthy exercise. And although yoga is a great workout, I don't know that it would be classed as a heart healthy exercise. So the walking is very important. So I'm going to put hopefully as seasons change and now lighter, I can improve this one. So number 8, this one is to lose 10k. Now, one of the things that, so obviously I've just mentioned it, but if you didn't know, in the last few months, I got diagnosed with ADHD. And one of the things that I've struggled with most throughout my life, I've always eaten a lot, and it was never a problem while I was a teenager. It was never a problem while I was like waitressing and things, because I was constantly moving. Even when I worked in retail, I was constantly moving. It only became a problem when I then got a sedentary job. So when I started sitting down more for my job every day, all of a sudden the weight piled on. And over the past year, I lost almost 10k. So one of the things that has been impacted by learning that I have ADHD and understanding that actually I impulsively eat, and I eat when I'm bored because my brain needs dopamine. So I eat sugar, it gives me the dopamine hit I need, is the medication that I'm on is actually an appetite suppressant. So I can actually eat, I'm fine with eating, but I don't actually feel the need to impulsively eat in the same way that I did before. Like when I'm bored, I can say to myself, do you know what, you don't want to eat that chocolate? Whereas previously it'd be like, give me the chocolate because my brain needs some stimulation right now. So that has impacted this. And they're monitoring my weight. So I don't know if they would even let me lose another 10k. Even though that would take me to like my ideal weight and the weight that I was before I gained 20 kilos. So I think I'm going to just make a note that the need to motivate for this one has changed. So it's not hard anymore. It's more that I have a choice now over whether I want to eat that extra cookie. I'm just going to put that the need to motivate for this has changed. So it may not be a challenge anymore. So yeah, I don't really know how to handle that one. I don't know what to do about it. I think because I do still want to lose the weight, but I don't want it to be something that I don't want to actively restrict what I'm eating because I don't feel like eating a lot of the time. So 9, prioritize my health. And this one, absolutely, I have done. As I say, I have, I've really, since having I pushed for the ADHD diagnosis. I had a week earlier in the year where it looked like I wasn't going to be referred, and I really pushed for it, and I really advocated for myself on this one. And since then, I have also checked something off my to-do list, which has been on there for literally 6 years. I'm going to put here that I have really advocated for myself over the past 3 months. And I hope to continue to carry on doing that going forward. Number 10. Oh, I'm terrible at this one. This one is one that I think actually might need to change. So this one is take Sundays off. And something that I have realised over the last couple of months is that actually I don't want Sundays off. Yes, I like to have a bit of time on Sunday to do a bit of planning, to do some creative stuff, to have a nice relaxing bath, to do some baking maybe, but I don't actually want to take Sundays off. I've realised that actually what I want is to take evenings off from my shop. I would rather spend time on the weekends doing businessy things because they're the things that I love. Like there's a reason that I have this as my business. It's because I love it. So there is, yeah, it's the idea of actually trying to make myself not do stuff for my shop on a Sunday actually just makes me think, why on earth would I try and do that? Because actually it's more that on a weekday after I've had a long day at work, I could do with not doing shop stuff then, basically. So I'm going to put this needs to change. Like I love, like today is a Sunday, I love filming a YouTube video on a Sunday. I don't love the editing, and I do need to do some editing for the video. So actually, for me, it's not actually Sundays off from my shop. So I'm going to put, I actually like doing shop stuff on a Sunday. So, and I will decide what I'm going to change it to once I get to that bit. So number 11, well, this one. So this was speak to / visit family every week. If you're not from the UK, you might not know. We've been in a lockdown since January. Like literally a few days after I set these goals, we got put in another lockdown. So like the only member of my family that I could actually visit was my mum, because we're in a support bubble together. I have dropped some baking off at my grandma's doorstep, and equally at like James's parents' doorstep. I just, you know, very socially distant, not, you know, not having a natter or anything, just dropping some stuff off. But yeah, I haven't actually been able to visit. I have mainly been able to speak to, and I have mainly done this, I have done this most weeks. I've either spoken to my mum or to my sister. Me and my sister have kind of sporadic. We basically say to ourselves, if we're going, well, we basically say, if we're going to have a catch up, we'll do it on a Tuesday evening. And that's been working really well. We do it over FaceTime. We don't do it every week because sometimes, you know, we've had a stressful day at work, we just want to veg out and not do anything, or sometimes we forget, like it's fine. But it's been really nice actually to make that effort. So number 12, this one's also been affected by lockdown, was date night each month. Not happened. We have like occasionally gone for a walk together or something like that, but yeah, we've not actually had like a proper date night. Hopefully as things start to lift, things will change. Maybe a nice meal, and I mean at home. So number 13 was pay off 5k of debt. So this one is basically like the weight thing, because when you learn that you are hyperactive with ADHD, one of the biggest things that happens for adults is that you have more consumer debt than most people, because we are impulsive when it comes to spending money. And actually that is something that's probably the thing that has just disappeared the most. I'm not gonna lie, even more so than the food. Like I am just not impulsive with money in the same way as I was. I've had a bit more of a spendy month this month because I bought the yoga mat and I bought some new leggings because I desperately needed them. But equally, I needed them 2 months ago, and I resisted buying them for like 2 months. So I'm just going to put going really well. Lack of impulse helps, because I can't claim that this one is through hard work and determination, because I can't. It's through medication and learning to understand how my brain works, basically. So 14, this one is engage with your budget, and this one started really well. I started well, and then lately I have just I've kind of drifted off from it a bit. I definitely need to, I'm doing like my monthly budgeting, and I do go in and update it maybe once a week. I think I do still need to engage with the budget though, so I'm going to leave it in there. It is definitely a goal that needs to stay. I think this maybe needs to be something that I need to schedule time in for. Sorry, it's just moved off the line. So I'm going to put, yeah, maybe I need to schedule time in for this. So Number 15. So this one was build business capital. So I don't know if I actually mentioned that in order for me to even start building business capital, I needed to pay back the overdraft on my business account. So my business account has an overdraft on it, and I used it when I was first getting set up and everything, and I just never managed to get out of that overdraft. I am actually doing really well at paying off that overdraft at the moment. A good chunk of that has actually been through not just shop income, but I've also been doing additional ways of making income. I've been doing destashes, I've been doing some user testing and surveying and things that just gives me like an extra boost on trying to pay off that overdraft. So so before I can actually get to making capital, I want to get that overdraft to 0, and then I can actually start accruing capital that I can then reinvest. So I'm going to put doing really well, paying off the overdraft. I'm hoping that in like the next couple of months it'll be gone completely, and then the rest of the year will just be building capital so that I can reinvest it. Basically, I just want to be reinvesting into new product lines. So 16. So this was sticking to the low buy. Is now not really a challenge. On the whole, I have stuck to it. Other than a few big purchases like the yoga mat. Number 17 is to take monthly social media breaks. Now, I haven't actually done this one, but I have kind of like sort of done it, I suppose. I haven't taken intentional breaks. I suppose because I haven't felt like I needed to take an intentional break. But I have had a couple of periods where I maybe just wasn't posting very much. But I was actually looking at social media in those. Maybe I should plan one for April. Because actually, yeah, I haven't had a social media break, and you know, I'm sure they would be very beneficial. Number 18, we're almost at the end. Oh, this one I've been doing so well on. So number 18 is YouTube video 2 times a month. I have consistently, or well, mostly, okay, let's rephrase this. So I have posted 2 YouTube videos a month consistently. I've actually exceeded that most months so far. So I think March is the first month where I haven't done 4, I think. I can't remember. Just because I did take like a week off. So I'm going to have smashed this. And achieved 4 or 5 some months. So I just need to keep it up. Number 19, which is declutter every season. So I haven't done this. And we are like in Q1, end of Q1, and I haven't done this. And I feel like I need to definitely do this in April, because I am feeling like I've got so much stuff. Like, I'm really starting to feel like I want to like minimalize a little bit of all of the stuff that I've got. I have so much stuff. I really don't need all the stuff that I've got. I think my problem is that I don't really know how to get rid of a lot of it. Like, right, so 20, we're nearly at the end. So this one is keep my plants alive. I can tell you my 3 plants are alive. All 3 are alive. The Monstera isn't looking the best. I think that's because it doesn't get enough light where it is, and I don't really know where to put it. And then like my Pilia needs, it has lots of babies in it, and it needs, they need like taking out and individually potting, but I just haven't had time. So I need to make time to repot at the moment. But they're doing well. So number 21, this is the last one, and this one is bake to gift. And this one I set because of the diet I was on. I felt like I couldn't bake to eat. So, and then, but I still wanted to bake, so I wanted to bake to gift. And actually I have done a bit of that. Have done this, but also I do now want to bake to eat. So for me, I think this one is all about balance. So let's just do a little new header, and I'm going to call this one changes. It's not very well lettered, it's a bit wobbly. My hand's getting a bit crampy now. So the main changes that we're going to lead with is number 6, workout goal. I'm going to change this to maintain a daily yoga practice. Right, I want to get so that I can do downward dog with my heels on the ground. They're getting ever so close now. They're getting so much closer, but I still can't quite do it. And I want to be able to do downward dog with my heels on the ground. But yeah, I want to maintain a daily yoga practice. Yoga for me isn't just about like the fitness aspect. It's also it makes me you know, think and actually take some time for myself, and yeah, it's the mindfulness of it as well as the actual fitness element. So and then the next one I want to do, that I want to change, is I'm going to change lose 10 kilos, but I'm not going to change it fully. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of extend it to lose 10 kilos and prioritize healthy choices. I want losing 10k to be more about the fact that I am choosing healthy choices rather than limiting what I'm eating. So for me, it's just it's just like a different way of looking at it, I suppose. So let's go 9, Oh no, not 9, because I have actually done that one. So 10, sorry, it was. So take Sundays off. I'm going to change to take 3 weeknights off, because I do need to do some work on weeknight. The next one that I do want to change a little bit is the final one, which is bake to gift. And I'm going to change this one to oh, hang on. Bake and enjoy it and gift some too. Basically with the idea that I'm allowed to bake, I'm allowed to eat some of it, and it's also nice to give some of it away. Okay guys, so the next stage the next bit that I want to do is to think about some tools and things that I need to put in place to help me continue to achieve my goals. So I have done some pre-thinking about this. I've only picked out certain tools for, I've picked out tools for like certain things, and they're basically things that I want to do that will help me. So they're almost like tasks that will help me build this in. So the first one that I've got is that I actually want to pick a non-fiction book a month, and I mean this in sort of like, I almost want to create for myself like a mini readers group schedule. So, and I want to sort of like think of this in advance and think, okay, well, what might I want to read that month? And I don't know whether to do this like in advance, as in like do it, like sit and plan the rest of the year, or if I want to do it like at the beginning of the month. I'm going to pick which non-fiction book I want to read that month. I'm leaning towards at the beginning of the month, and I'm thinking that I might work it into like my monthly page. So just so that then I look at that page every day to fill out my habit tracker, so I'll see it and be like, oh yeah, I've not read that book yet, I should read it. The next one that I am that I'm thinking of doing, and it's mainly, all of this is basically like scheduling stuff in to make life easier. Hang on, let me just line up again. And so the next one is to block out self-care time. Now this might be on one of the weeknights that I've got off, or it might be at the weekend. I really like to have a relaxing bath on either a Saturday or a Sunday evening, so I think it will probably end up being the evening. But yeah, I'm thinking, actually I'm going to put on a Sunday evening, and I actually mean doing this in my calendar, in my Google Calendar, so that it really is like that time is blocked out, that is what you're doing in that time. So then number 3, this one, I want to prepare healthy food choices. So I will choose healthy food choices if I'm like taking a packed lunch, because I'm working at home a bit more at the minute. I mean, that's going to change soon because we're starting to open up again now. When I'm taking a packed lunch, I will prepare healthy food choices, but I also want those to be available when I'm at home. So I mean things like preparing carrots into carrot sticks, because I really love carrot sticks, but if I've got to peel and chop the carrots to eat them, I'm not going to choose carrot sticks. And like berries need washing and preparing in advance. If they're just sat in the fridge in the container, I don't they end up going off or whatever because I forget to prepare them. So, and this again is block out time to do this. We get our food shopping on a Thursday. So either on a Thursday or a Friday, I want to block out some time to actually prepare those food choices. So number 4, this one is this kind of factors into again, like scheduling, but it's more, I want to keep a record of when I last speak to family and friends. So one of the things with ADHD is that your perception of time is different. They call it time blindness, and basically time is like now or not now. So our perception of time is different. So if I keep a record of when I last spoke to them, I will then know if I am speaking to them regularly enough, if that makes sense. And it'd be nice to like keep a record of what we spoke about, if there's anything that I want to follow up on. That's what I'm thinking. And I'll probably do that in like a collection in my Hobonichi. Number 5, and like all of these are basically scheduling. And yeah, so my problem is that like even if James comes to me and says, do you want to go for a walk? If I've got something else that I'm doing, or he comes in the middle of me doing something else, then I'll go, oh no, I'm doing this. So actually, if we talked about, oh, you know, tomorrow shall we go for a walk, then I can then put that in my schedule and plan it out. I think that's what I need more. And sort of like when we're meal planning, if we say, hey, why don't we have make ourselves a fancy meal on this evening, and then we can meal plan for it, find a recipe, meal plan for it, that sort of thing. Number 6 is that I want to build decluttering into my cleaning schedule. So I'm going to be revamping my cleaning schedule. The way that I'm using it at the moment isn't actually suiting me. Part of this self-discovery and learning about myself and how I work is that I've realised that if I give myself a great long tick list, I'll get bored halfway through, and I get really annoyed if I get really irrationally annoyed. I did 3 weeks in a row of cleaning the same things, and then was really annoyed that I was having to clean the same things 3 weeks in a row. So I realised actually what I need is to set out a block of time each week, and in that time I clean. And what I'm doing is I like look down my list and think, okay, what did I not do last week that I can do this week? What things need doing this week? And I want to build decluttering into that time. Because to be quite frank, like I do not think that I need to clean the windows of my house every week, but I've got it on my weekly list. And I just think my windows, the inside of the windows don't get dirty that quickly. Like I don't have children. I have a cat, but like he doesn't very often like paw the windows or anything. So yeah, So I'm rethinking my cleaning schedule, and I want to build decluttering into that. And then the next one that I want to do, I've got two more basically, and one of them is kind of like incorporates several other things. The first one though is to schedule time for the admin with YouTube. And I don't mean admin as in like doing the comments, though I'm rubbish at doing the comments as well. I mean, I schedule time to film videos like this. Like I put in my schedule, film 2 YouTube videos, which I am running way behind, but I do not schedule the time that I need to do the thumbnail, that I need to edit the actual video, that I might need to find music for, that those things I don't schedule that in advance. And I think that's what I need to do. I need to be saying to myself, okay, do you know what, not Fridays, because Friday, oh god no, Fridays I've been at work until late on a Friday. Maybe Thursday evenings are when I sit and I do the thumbnail and I transfer the footage from my phone to my computer, because that's one of the things that that takes a lot of time, because the files are so big. When I'm trying to transfer them, like I basically, because I film on my phone, I've got to rotate the video, and then I've got to transfer it to my computer before I can even start editing. So yesterday I scheduled time to edit, and I literally, the only thing that I got done was I did the thumbnail and I turned the videos around and I transferred them to my computer before I ran out of time. So I need to schedule in the little steps that happen before the editing, so that I can actually edit in the time that I've set to edit. And then I'm leaving enough time to upload and all of that sort of thing. Then the final one is actually, it's sort of, this one kind of factors in the yoga and walking elements of this. And that is, I actually want to decide on a morning routine and an evening routine. And as I said earlier, one of the things that I'm realising since I've gone through all of this stuff to do with my ADHD is that actually I have more time available to me in the morning than I realise. So I want to be making the most of that. Like I wake up now before my alarm goes off. So I'm thinking actually I could probably set my alarm a little bit earlier and get up a little bit earlier. And then in that time I could be doing something that's useful. So yeah, I just want to build myself a little routine. Now I'm getting used to how long it takes me to do things now. I want to think about actually putting that into a routine and saying, okay, maybe I go on my walk in the morning, or maybe I do some yoga in the morning. Then in the evening, I basically want to do like a routine that is either at the end of work or before I go to bed. I'm not sure which way around I'm going to do it yet. But yeah, that's something that I've had on my to-do list for months, and I never did it because I didn't actually know how long things took me or what things I felt like I could actually get done in the morning, but now I feel like I can. So that's a little project for me to work on. So this is probably a ridiculously long video, but I hope that you enjoyed sort of seeing the inner workings of how my goals have been going, the changes I want to make, and the tools, the tasks that I want to do to try and increase my engagement, my productivity with this. I think I'm just going to trim this down a little bit so that it doesn't, so that it's not all the way to the edge. And then round the corners, and then I will just like tape this in, probably in the middle maybe, just so that it's in the middle there. And then I've got my little Q1 roundup, little review of my goals and everything. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and you maybe found it helpful. Maybe it'll make you think about how you are doing with your goals for the year, or how you are, if there's any changes that you're going to make. Actually, if you do, if this has made you think of that, please do let me know in the comments down below, because that'd be really interesting to hear if you approach this in the same way. Maybe you approach it in a different way. That would also be really interesting. So yeah, feel free to mention it down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon.